all that you do, and my gosh, you guys have so much energy and excitement for this time of the morning. But anyway, I'm glad to be here. Congratulations, Peggy Hall of Honor, Adam Rubel, new Rotarian of the Year. I see you back there. Your club received the Youth Service Award, Vocational Service Award. All I can say is, wow, it's amazing. I just thank you for all that you've accomplished, all that you continue to do. I'd also like to thank my Vice Governor, past District Governor Julie Dodsky. She's stepping in. Hopefully she won't have to step in this year for me if I continue taking my vitamins and getting my exercise. But her knowledge, her expertise, just invaluable to me. And I thank you, Julie, for serving in this role. Right. Well, I'm just extremely honored and humbled to be standing here as your district governor for 6490 for this next year. And I assure you I'm going to do the very best that I can, building on the leadership of those who served before me, such as past District Governor Julie, so many other past district governors. I'm doing all that I can to set the stage for those that follow. That would be Janet Ellis Nelson. She's our district governor-elect. She's also from Champaign Rotary. And then Mike Martin, who is from the Mattoon Club. He is district governor nominee. So we keep in touch. We keep the monthly meetings going. We're all in the loop of conversation. And I just encourage you to please don't hesitate to ever come to me with any questions or ideas that you have for our district. And just a quick overview of what I'm going to cover this morning includes our Rotary International theme, which you've already heard by now, Imagine Rotary. Some thoughts from Rotary International President Jennifer, some thoughts that I have about our district, what I'm envisioning for us for this next year, and then just a brief overview of Rotary International strategic priorities. As we all know, 2022-23 in Rotary we're experiencing history. Jennifer Jones has been elected as the first female Rotary International president. All I can say is it's about time, right? We have the honor of having President Jennifer, president-elect at that time, come and speak to us at presidential training in Effingham, and she is the most caring, compassionate, considerate person. If you read the article in the July issue of the Rotary magazine, she's all that and more. And she even took the time during her busy stop in Effingham, Illinois. That picture there's the other district governor-elects at the time, and we all worked together to assist in the planning of president-elect training. She sat down with us that evening for an hour and 15 minutes at a table. She talked to us about her hopes and dreams for Rotary International. She also talked to us, asked us, what are your hopes and dreams for your district? And I can tell you, which is wonderful. She's a worldwide traveler. She's continuing to travel all over the world. You follow her on Facebook. And she's not going to remember Effingham, Illinois, I'm sure, but we're going to remember sitting down and the time that she took to talk with us. And we just really, really enjoyed that evening. As she unveiled our theme for this next year, Imagine Rotary, she's encouraging clubs to adapt, to retool, to do what we need to re-engage. And, you know, in her words, you don't imagine yesterday, you imagine tomorrow. And when I hear the word imagine, I've got 11 grandkids. So you talk about imagination, kids have just that innocent imagination that we encourage all of us to work together to share that passion. And I encourage you to do that. When you think about the endless dreams and possibilities that we have for Rotary and for our clubs for this next year. And if you're like me, you're probably thinking we've done a lot of retooling, readjusting already, right? We've learned to do what we had to do to survive and thrive during COVID for the past 2.5 years. We're continuing to make adjustments because the variants just don't seem to be going away. You're hybrid, my club is currently hybrid. Some of the clubs have decided, nope, we're going to meet in person. So, you know, we're just doing what we need to do. But I think we just also need to continue thinking about President Jennifer's philosophy of comfort and care for all of our members. And we were really good about checking in on our family and friends during COVID. So let's just continue to do that and just think about each other. And, you know, I've been in Rotary for nearly 24 years. I think I've seen more change in the past 2.5 years than I've seen in the previous 20 years. You know, we're not always forward thinkers. We kind of like things the way they've always been. But it just kind of feels like we've had maybe a decade worth of change here in about 2.5 years. But traditions are wonderful. I'm one of the most traditionalists as far as not pointing any fingers when it comes to change. But as we move forward, we just must continue to keep in mind that we now have a lot of flexibility from Rotary International we never had before. President Jennifer, when she was talking to us at the convention in Houston, she says, you know, for years we've heard about think outside the box. And she's like, you know what? If things aren't working and make adjustments, just break the box. Don't even worry about that box anymore. But, you know, she's just asking us to keep in mind that we can vary our meeting times with service projects. with socials. And during the International Assembly in January 2022, for the first time, we call them classmates. Those are district governor-elects and nominees. We trained together for over 2.5 years. For me, it's been little boxes of Zoom online. We thought for the first time in 2.5 years that we'd get to meet in person in Orlando. Well, we know what happened after the holidays with that latest surge. So at the last minute, Rotary International said, no, for the safety of everyone, it's going to have to be online. So they did a really good job, though, with the software platform. But during that time, President Jennifer, she asked us to keep in mind just a couple of the goals that she would like for us to do. And that's for each district. She would like us to establish 2 new satellite and/or inter-district cause-based clubs. And she also is encouraging us to utilize that flexibility that I just mentioned that we have available now, and that's including the e-club options. In addition, she asked us to keep in mind with the Rotary International Board of Directors some strategic priorities and goals they set a couple of years ago, and that's for us to continue our work on diversity in all areas, not one area, but all areas. And she's also asking us to work towards the goal of women comprising at least 30% of our Rotary International membership by 2023. District 6490, we're at 34%. You are at 50%. That's amazing. I looked at that TV a couple of days ago. I think you have one more female than male. So that's way to go. Continue, keep going. But for those of you that attended that, simply you got a potential new member here, so you might be very there we go. As I shared with you some of President Jennifer's thoughts, I'd also like to share with you just a few things that I have for our district I'd like for us to keep in mind. And that's $130 per capita for all clubs donating to the Rotary Foundation. And you're at $257 per capita, so that's amazing. And continue the great work that you're doing. When we set that goal with the zone, and the zone is comprised of a group of districts, as a district is a group of clubs, they set that goal at $130 per capita for 6490. And we finished the year at 137, so let's continue the great work that we're doing. I'd love to see $100 minimum from every member, at least, $10 a month, even less than that, but at least $100 minimum. We also have what we're talking about now in Polio Now Society, so that'll be up to the district if we decide to continue with that, and that's just to encourage everyone, $10 a month, $120 a year. And we know we're this close to eradicating polio, and we've been saying for years it's a plane right away. Well, it is. It arrived in New York just 2 or 3 weeks ago. So we need to continue our focus there. I'd love to see 5% increase over the district for in polio donations. And I just love to see all clubs plan some kind of an activity for World Polio Day, which is October the 24th, regardless of size. Like I said, if nothing else, to keep that awareness out there, that focus that we need to continue our efforts to eradicate this. I'd love to see all members enrolled in the recurring giving program. Rotary Direct is simple, it's easy. They'll take money out of your checking account or charge your credit card each month. So please keep that in mind. We only have like less than 200 Rotarians signed up for that across the district with 1,600 members. So in addition to the Rotary Foundation, we also have a district foundation, and this was recently established towards the end of this last year. This was established at the Illinois Prairie Community Foundation here in the Bloomington area. This is just another way for you to consider donating where the funds would be kept locally here within the community, within the district, and just kind of fill the gaps between the Rotary Foundation and just those projects that may be too costly for you as a club to take on your own. As we work towards President Jennifer's goal, and Rotary International. Of course, I would love to see 2 new satellite clubs, cause or interest-based clubs. You ask, well, what's a cause-based club? That's where you get a group of individuals that already have a common passion. They're veterans, medical personnel, first responders, just people that already share that interest. And these new clubs are going to provide Rotary with sustainable growth. And it's not to take members away from our established club. It's not a competition, but it's just to bring additional new people into Rotary. They already have a connection with their interest, their passion. And most of these, they already have a lot of networking opportunities. They're already busy individuals, but let's get them introduced to the wonderful world of Rotary International. You know about the Bloomington Pub Club. They started as a satellite club, chartered in February 2022, I believe, and then the Moraine View Satellite Club, that was established here just a few months ago. So I'm encouraging Champaign-Urbana, come on, step up, let's get a satellite club going. And then I spoke to Decatur Club on a week ago Monday, and I encouraged them because there's so many small communities around the Decatur area. They used to have a club, and they don't have a club anymore. So let's try to get them involved. And summarizing, just summarizing this, it's not to say that we shouldn't continue the recruiting efforts in our own clubs. We need to not only sustain our growth, but to continue to grow if we're going to continue to keep up the projects and the wonderful things that we're doing in the community. The next goal there is net +1 for each club. And that sounds pretty easy, net +1, but we know with attrition, people that transfer out of the community, people that retire, move out of the community. But if we could just get net +1 across the district, that would be great for everyone. Our focus this past year has been on each one bring one, and it's been great. But we also need to concentrate on retaining all of our members. It seems to be a revolving door with new members. They join Rotary, and within the first 2 to 3 years, they leave, and that percentage is just staggering. So let's get young people, or not just young people, new members involved right away, serving on service projects and just keeping them busy. And as we work on all of our club setting, achieving goals in Rotary Club Central, you already have your goals in there. I looked at those. Already some of them have been updated, so great work there. You deserve that recognition, that receiving a Rotary citation for all the hours that you're volunteering, all the money that you're raising. And Rotary International needs to know that. They like to go out and brag about what we're doing. They like that when it comes to getting our charity navigation certification. So I'd love to see 70% of our clubs doing that. So we're working on that and continuing efforts. As Laura mentioned, visioning strategic planning process with all the clubs that we've been through for the past 2 years. I'd love to see at least 2 clubs undertake the visioning process, and that's just a matter of sitting down and talking about things and what's going well, what can we do to improve things, and how can we retain and recruit new members. So I'd also like to see at the district level for us to get some zone assistance if needed, but let's sit down and talk about what can we do as a district. Sometimes I feel like there's a little bit of a disconnect between the clubs and the district. So if we could just work on bridging that gap a little bit, and any ways that we can envision that. In the words of Walt Disney, if you visualize it, if you can dream it, there's some way we can do it. So as part of the district planning process each year, we evaluate new committees, and I'm thinking that disaster recovery, that's come up a couple of times. Hopefully it's a committee that won't be needed, but as we know, things happen with all the rains and the floods. Diversity, equity, inclusion, the environment piece, and just so many other areas there. So we're going to continue examining those committees and making adjustments as needed. Now that youth programs are moving forward, thank you, after 2.5 years, the youth programs just have not been able to do anything much. Rotary Youth Exchange, Rila Camp, Internet, we need to get the young people back together. And thanks to efforts here in the district and in your own club here with Glenn and Doug Schmal, we're moving along with that. We have Bill Lair. He's reaching out to clubs to say, hey, we need to identify inbound, outbound students for 23 and 24. So the Empowering Girls Initiative, that's continuing also this year. So I'd like to, keep that focus on the youth, keep them involved in our service projects, our activities, and let's target all young thinkers, not just young people, but young thinkers, as I refer to them, and just encourage everyone to share their knowledge, their experiences, and just the memories of how things have been done, and then just adjust towards making adjustments and moving forward in new and innovative ways. For those of you that serve at district level or have served, thank you so much. Your leadership, your willingness to step up is so appreciated. You graduated from the Rotary Leadership Institute, but please, we need your help. We need help on all the committees. We need to continue bringing different people in, new people with different ideas. So if you're willing to serve and you'd love to, just please let me know. And there's just so many passionate people out there, so much just talents and abilities, and I'd love to see people getting involved. And if you don't have the interest, you don't want to serve at the district level, I understand that. But there's also Rotary Fellowships, and this is just a way to find out what else is going on in Rotary International. There's a beer fellowship, a wine fellowship, a bicycling fellowship, so there's something there for everybody. There's also Rotary Action groups, and these are just a group of people that have skills and expertise in certain areas, and they can just be able to assist you if you have some idea, and you can hash around some thoughts. All that information can be found at the Rotary International website, rotary.org. And as I continue making club visits and talking with members, which has been the fun part of the journey, right, Julie? That's when you get out and you talk to people and you hear what they're doing, you share their excitement and their passion. And Rotary International has some strategic priorities, and these include increase our impact, expand our reach, enhance participant engagement, and increase our ability to adapt. And as I mentioned earlier, Rotary International is encouraging us to continue our work on diversity in all areas, not just one area, but in all areas. And hopefully you've already heard about diversity, equity, and inclusion, another acronym, DEI, which is a little bit easier to say. It's already generating quite a discussion. As district leaders and others in our clubs, we've been asked to, just to sit and think about, to concentrate on, commit to being honest and transparent about where we are in our DEI journey. And a part of Rotary's statement on this important topic is, quote, "We believe all people hold visible and invisible qualities that inherently make them unique, and we strive to create an inclusive culture where each person knows that they are valued and belong," in that quote. Visible and invisible qualities, that's quite a concept. When people hear certain topics such as DEI, well, emotions, beliefs, they instantly surface. I was asked last week what my message about equity is really all about. And I said, well, it's about equal access, it's about equal opportunity. And then there was a political statement made, and I said, nothing I am sharing with you has anything to do with politics. It has nothing to do as far as Rotary International's message for us to take out to the clubs. It's just being, just being open. I have a sister who's 18 months older than I am. She has cerebral palsy, and she has some intellectual disabilities. Late 50s, 60s, she had no opportunity. She had no access to going to school. She didn't have the opportunity. So I go to school, we come home, I play school with her. I try to teach her what I had learned that day at school. So that was the opportunity she didn't have. She also wants to feel included. Her cerebral palsy, now that she's of her age, she wants to be able to have equal access, get her wheelchair into the movies, into the restaurant, and she wants to feel included, that if she stumbles with her meal, that she doesn't have to worry that people look at her, or they're not paying, looking the other way. And she was struggling with a big, large drink one day. And so I said, well, let's get a to-go cup. She said, well, I feel kind of like a baby, I've got a lid on here and the straw. So my other sister and I were sitting there, so we asked the waitress to bring us over to-go cups. And so now we get to-go cups when we go out to lunch. So it's a matter of feeling included. So to me, that's what DEI is all about. So you may have your specific area that you focus on, and yes, I'm emotional about it. I'm very passionate about it, and so, I just ask us to please put aside our differences. We're all volunteers here, and we all just have different ways of expressing our core beliefs, and I believe that diversity is our strength. I recently heard the phrase that diversity is a fact, equity is a choice, inclusion is an action, and belonging is an outcome. So with the focus that we've had on recruiting younger members the past couple of years, I've had some seasoned members, and I refer to myself as a seasoned member, that felt a little left out. And they're like, well, hey, what about me? I'm not a young person, but, I say let's take advantage of their memory, their expertise, their knowledge. In my club, we're 105 years old. The club is, we're not 105, the club is 105. I feel like 105 some mornings. But no, but we have a lot of institutional memory there. We have young members come in, they said, I didn't know he was CEO of a company. I didn't know he was past president and those sort of things. So, let's just keep that in mind as we move forward and we bring new people in. Past District Governor Connie Walsh, he's from the Champaign West Club. He has been asked to serve on his own advisory circle. He wants us to start a small group of district members and just sit down and talk about, hey, what's your experience been like in Rotary? Discuss any challenges and how the conversation flows. So we look forward to hearing more from Kevin regarding that. Before I conclude, there's a few dates I'd like for you to keep in mind. September the 1st, district grant applications are due. We have $45,000 available this year. Sounds like a lot, but when you have 45 clubs, that's not a lot. That's why it's important for people to donate to the Rotary Foundation Annual Fund, because nearly 50% of that comes back to the districts. That's where we get our money for the district grants. So let's continue. If you have any questions, Marla Scarborough from the Champaign Club should be more than happy to help you with that. District conference is going to be held at the Holiday Inn in Champaign, September 16th and 17th. Julie's helping with us with the planning on that. We're going to start with lunch on Friday, go through dinner Friday evening, start breakfast on Saturday, and conclude Saturday evening with dinner. We've got some great speakers lined up. We've got some great breakout sessions. So we'd love to see you there. If you can't come for a day and a half, we understand that. You'll have the opportunity to sign up for lunch or for dinner or for one day of the conference. So please keep that in mind. We're also asking clubs to put together a Polio Plus basket for the auction, House of Friendship. So please, if you don't mind doing that, information for that, Janet Ellis Nelson. All the proceeds from that go to Polio Plus. So we would also like to recognize the Rotarians, sadly, that we've lost, that have passed away this past year. So any information on them, please also get that to Janet. In conclusion, as I continue to consider my focus this year in leading our district, I take into account my concerns and my passions. And, I'm asking you to be brave and intentional. Okay, you don't have to necessarily jump out of a good airplane like I did with my husband I did 29 years ago. But, just be brave and intentional with what you want to do, and just be open and passionate. And my hope is that you just feel that excitement, that energy, and that passion that we, for what as Rotarians we stand for, and that service above self. As President Jennifer encourages us, imagine the world that deserves our best, where we can get up each day knowing that we can make a difference. Keep in mind that acting on your dreams is a choice, and let's imagine what we can achieve together. When I heard the President-elect Jennifer, when she was President-elect, was elected, I thought of her as a trailblazer. So when I think of 2022 and 23 for our district, I imagine Rotary blazing trails. So that is our district theme for this year. Continue doing good, continue all the great things you're doing in the community. I thank you for your time and attention this morning. Let's saddle up your horses because we have some trails to blaze this year. So thank you so very much.
We have time for a few questions if you'd like to ask.
Now's the opportunity, come on. Yes.
I did want to let you know, we checked out of the 196 Rotary Direct, we have 83 in our.
Whoa! Probably what, roughly 65, 70%. That's awesome. Yeah, I know, I'm preaching to the choir here with you.
I'm like, Pat, what's our number?
I know. No, you guys are doing awesome there, especially with your donations too, and all the work that you're doing. So, yes, sir.
You talk really great within your speech, but what inspired you to join Rotary, and what's kind of your Rotary moment of this is when you knew it was up for you?
Well, my boss at the time, he kept going to this meeting on Mondays at noon called Rotary. I had no idea what it was. I just know my boss left early, he came back late, but he went to Rotary. His excuse. So when he retired, moved down the area, he said it was kind of an informal thing in our club that you had to find a replacement if you were leaving. I'm his replacement, so it really nothing exciting other than the fact that he's like, hey, you want to go try Rotary? So I went to the first meeting, I've never looked back. A Rotary moment, it's also kind of emotional for me because when I was busy going to school, and I know how it is, you got your family, you got a career going. I didn't have much time to devote to my club, but I never missed ringing the Salvation Army bells. And we come together, and I think you guys do too here in this area, Champaign-Urbana, and we take an hour out of our busy schedules here in the middle of December, and I was standing there. It was really extremely cold for December. I know it's always cold, but I'm kind of looking at my watch. I'm thinking, I got to run these errands. I got gifts to buy. I need things for dinner, for Christmas, and my mind's a little distracted. I'm saying, Merry Christmas, thank you. And this lady stops with her daughter, about this tall, her daughter, and she puts some money in, and she starts to go into the grocery store, and she stops, and she says, she goes, if it wasn't for Salvation Army when my daughter was little, she goes, we wouldn't have had a meal one Christmas. And she said, at that time, we were really struggling. She said, we received donations from them. And she said, I was able to go back to school. And her daughter was standing there smiling. So I'm ringing that bell, and I'm thinking, well, 1 hour of my time, you never know the impact of what you're doing and what that's going to end up being what she dropped into the bucket that year that she couldn't do back when her daughter was little. But yeah, I mean, that just really, it's not an international project. It's not something that's, wow, I drop polio drops into some child overseas. My little afternoon, they're just ringing the Salvation Army bell. So, and like I said, it doesn't matter what you're doing, what scale, it all adds up. So, and that's what it's all about. It really is. So, I understand being busy when you don't have a lot of time, but those things all add up. So, yes.
It seems like at one time we had the polio down to a handful of cases in a country or two, and really it's hard for me to see it in New York, and I don't know if that's going to see that or.
Well, I have not read a lot about it yet, other than I know the individual they said was not vaccinated and came back into this country from another country, and I don't remember, Julie, do you remember which country he had just flown in from? But yeah, I mean, it's just the sad thing is it's just not eradicated yet. And I believe we were down to 3 cases in maybe 1 country or something, and we're working really hard at it, but it would just, until we get it completely wiped out, that's the goal. So, yeah. Well, thank you so much. Like I said, you guys have a lot of time and energy for 7 years. Thank you so much.